Greetings and salutations, Michigan Ultimate. It is I, James L. Seegers, coming to you at 8:23 on November 16th. This is it, folks. This is the Week 11 Commissioner's Corner podcast where we talk about all the playoff scenarios. Who's in, who's already in, I should say. Who's got a chance of being in, who's going to be out, the whole 9 yards. As I mentioned once before, that's 18 yards already before 9 a.m. Where else are you going to get those kind of numbers? Anyway, a lot to break down. I'm not going to waste any time. First and foremost, if you notice at the standings column, you'll notice there are no longer any numbers associated with the teams. There are no more rankings because, as I've said all year long, at the end of the day, the rankings don't really mean anything because it's just a gauge to see where you are at the end of the year. Well, now here we are at the end of the year, and the teams speak for themselves. So, last week was huge. This week, gonna be even huger, people. It's gonna be the hugest week in the history of MUSL, possibly. Got a lot going on. So, I do not feel good at all, which is great because this Saturday at 6 o'clock, the door is open for our Chronicles of the King fundraiser. If you do not know what that is, because Facebook buries everything that I post, I am helping to produce a feature film about Elvis hunting Bigfoot. And we're having a fundraising party, Elvis Night, at the Commonwealth Commerce Center, it's called, including a karaoke contest that I was going to at least participate in, even if I can't win. But I feel like crap, so let's hope I get better by the weekend. Anyway, who's the king of the Survivor League? Well, we don't know yet. We won't know until week 16. But we do know who's winning what conferences. So without further ado, let's break it down, shall we? So I did this spreadsheet a little weird here. Well, let's start with this right here, okay? The Jeff Lebowski Conference. Point blank. Lotta. Where's this at? Where are my notes? Oh, God. I don't know what happened to my notes. I believe if a lot of wins, they're in. If they lose, and how much longer will liberalism be legal wins. Let me see who's got that tiebreaker there. I had these notes, and then I inadvertently deleted them on this one here. Okay, a lot has won this conference. We determined this last week. That's right. That's why I didn't have them in the notes, because a lot has won this conference, even if they lose. And how much longer will liberalism be legal? As you can see right here, how much longer will liberalism be legal? Lost to a lot last week. That's why that game was so huge. Don't mind the topless kid in the background. Hey, what's up, bud? He doesn't feel good, allegedly. We'll see. No, it's fine. So, there we go. That one is over. So, what that means for the rest of the league is not good, because that means a lot can... Now, here's the deal, a lot listen up, because you're fairly new. I think this is your second year. I don't remember if we made the playoffs last year or not, but if you do not submit a lineup, you will be randomized. So, you can totally submit a lineup of players who are like fourth string or Jared Goff, your choice, and you will not be randomized. But if you do not submit a lineup, you may get randomized players that you don't want to lose. So I would not do that. I would submit a scrapper lineup with a bunch of fourth stringers. That is a legal lineup. Therefore, you would not be randomized. Just a tip. And Ryan Frazier's Kryptonite is going to get an automatic win. But luckily, that doesn't matter because he is way out of the thing. So he has no chance of winning anything. But kudos to my wife's uncle, who has taken over teams and just trying to get in here, that team. And he submitted some good lineups the last couple weeks, no doubt about it. So anyway, so that's that. That one's wrapped up, folks. A lot of congratulations. You are the 2021 Jeff Lebowski Conference champion. Now, let's go back here. Damn it. Trying to get the full screen standings here. This is madness right here. Straight up. I mean, this is where we spend the most time talking, probably. Oh, my God. So this conference here, if you can't see this, let me zoom in here a little bit. Okay, look at this. Kirk Lazarus Conference right here. We have Golf and Balls, Cloacal Kiss, Kakambas, the Apache Chiefs, FarmersOnly.com, all tied at 7-3. I apologize for the snorting, but I got to get through this somehow. Where's Daniel Bedingfield? Is he around here? Anyway, so Golf and Balls, Cloacal Kiss, Kakambas, and the Apache Chiefs, all 7-3. All, I believe, have a chance at somehow winning. Now, the question is, who plays who? Well, we'll look at this one later. So this is my little breakdown. Let me just zoom in on this, too. So this is the matrix here. Keanu Reeves need not apply. Golf and Balls is green. Cloacal Kiss is blue. Kakambas is yellow. Apache Chiefs is red. FarmersOnly.com is brown. That's appropriate. Farmers, brown. They plant things in the soil. That's why. So, we can make this pretty easy if Golf and Balls, because they play FarmersOnly.com, if they win this week, Golf and Balls wins the conference, no matter what happens, because even if everybody else wins, Golf and Balls will be at that point 3-1 against these other teams, so they'll have the tiebreaker, okay? If FarmersOnly.com beats them, though, that's when things get super complicated. I tried breaking this down. It was not easy, and this is not necessary. This was so complicated, I can't even vouch for the validity of some of these situations. But Golf and Balls loses. They're going to be out of the mix, apparently, because of the fact that the teams that are in the playoff hunt here, I don't think that's accurate, though. Maybe not. That's tough. I don't like trying to do research and then find out, like, oh, hey, maybe I just stop there. Let's see, though. Golf Ball loses and FarmersOnly.com win. So if Golf and Balls loses, FarmersOnly.com can win the conference if Cloacal Kiss, Kakambas, and Apache Chiefs all lose. Or if Cloacal Kiss, Apache Chiefs loses and Kakambas win, they would win the conference. FarmersOnly.com win. Cloacal Kiss can win the conference if they win and Kakambas lose, because they have the tiebreaker over Kakambas, okay? They have, Kakambas have the tiebreaker over Cloacal Kiss. Cloacal Kiss has it over Apache Chiefs and FarmersOnly.com. Oh, yeah, no, that's why Golf and Balls loses and they are out, because they'd be 7-4, and one of these teams would be 8-3, so that's why that is. So they win, they're in. They lose, they're out. Everything's on Golf and Balls, so that is accurate, because one of these teams is going to win, we think. And even if Golf and Balls loses, FarmersOnly.com is going to win. So, yeah, that's why that is. Cloacal Kiss can win the conference if they win and Kakambas lose. So, obviously, Golf and Balls, for this to happen, Golf and Balls has, all these scenarios involve Golf and Balls losing, because if Golf and Balls wins, they win the conference. If they lose, they're out of the conference, and then opens the door for a lot of possibilities for the other teams to win, including FarmersOnly.com, Cloacal Kiss, and Kakambas. Kakambas can win the conference if Golf and Balls loses to FarmersOnly.com, obviously. And the Apache Chiefs lose. That would make Kakambas, Cloacal Kiss, and FarmersOnly.com all 8-3. And Kakambas have beaten Cloacal Kiss. Wait, no, that's not true either. Damn it! FarmersOnly.com has beaten Cloacal Kiss, or has beaten Kakambas. So they'd all be 1-1. And let's go to the standings then. How many points do they all have? Kakambas have 768. Cloacal Kiss 809. Oh my God, I fucked something up here, but I had to have done the research on this. Kakambas would be, I don't know. I don't think that's accurate. I think if this happens, it goes to points, actually. But, you know, it was 6 a.m. when I started this shit. So, these other two things are definitely accurate. I think Kakambas can win it somehow. But, if Kakambas lose and Cloacal Kiss wins, then they will get the conference. If Golf and Balls loses. Yikes. Point is, you can see, this is complicated because as of right now, if FarmersOnly.com wins, all these teams will be 2-2 against each other, but Golf and Balls won't be in the running because of the fact that they will not be, they'll be 7-4 at that point, and FarmersOnly.com will be 8-3. So, this one is a mess. No doubt about it. Now, if you look at just strictly points, Cloacal Kiss has a sizable advantage over the rest of the teams. Kakambas on a 7-game win streak, by the way. That's pretty impressive. So, if Kakambas can outscore Cloacal Kiss by 50 points, it's possible, then they would actually win. That's how they would win that conference. Let's go down to the Ron Burgundy Conference here. We've got Tips and Tricks, Zeke's Relationship Corner, both tied. They have the best odds of winning. Nantab Knights 6-4, Chubb Ertz at 6-4. Now this one here I broke down this is a little bit easier to break down here. I got the wrong screen. Tips and Tricks win, and they're in. Straight up. If Zeke's Relationship Corner wins and Tips and Tricks loses, then Zeke Relationship Corner would be 8-3. Tips and Tricks would be 7-4, obviously. So Zeke's Relationship Corner would win. That's how that works. Now, if both lose, they would both be 7-4. Tips and Tricks has the tiebreaker over Zeke, so be it. But if both lose and Nantab Knights wins and Chubb Ertz loses, there'd be a three-way tie, 7-4. Tips and Tricks is 2-0. Zeke's Relationship Corner 1-1. Nantab Knights 0-2. So if both Tips and Tricks and Zeke Relationship Corner lose and Chubb Ertz loses, Nantab Knights wins. That means that Tips and Tricks will win the conference. If both Tips and Tricks, well, I guess if all four teams lose, I guess technically, Chubb Ertz. Oh, sorry. Jesus, man, I gotta get my head together here. Tips and Tricks and Zeke's Relationship Corner lose, and then Chubb Ertz wins and Nantab Knight loses. That means Tips and Tricks, Zeke's Relationship Corner, and Chubb Ertz are all 7-4. And if that happens, it would go to points because they're all 1-1 against each other, and Zeke's Relationship Corner has a huge advantage in points. So, Nantab Knights, unfortunately, has lost to both of these teams that are in the running here, so they have no chance of winning the conference. I hate to say it, but you still want to win because you want to be 7-4 and get that in on the potential playoff drawing for the record. But Nantab Knights cannot win this. Chubb Ertz cannot win this. All they can do is these guys want to win their team. They want to win their game so they can get more tickets for the lottery or get in based on record. So even though these guys are 7-4, even if they win, do they play each other? They must play each other this week. Chubb Ertz and Nantab Knights. Maybe they don't. If they both lose, it won't matter, I guess. So that's why. So let's go one of two ways, folks. Tips and Tricks or Zeke's Relationship Corner. And if if Tips and Tricks wins, Zeke wins, and Tips and Tricks loses, then Zeke wins it. But if they both lose, then it all falls on Nantab Knights and Chubb Ertz. Now, if they both lost, then Tips and Tricks would still win. So Zeke has an outside chance, but not impossible by any stretch. I'd say 60-40 to Tips and Tricks here. Although if they win, obviously they're going to win it all. Let's look at the Jeff Spicoli Conference here. We got Jeff Spicoli Conference. We have a three-way tie here. 7-3, 7-3. And then 2 6-4 teams. Miss Orange Man, Hot Wife had a chance to clinch the conference last week and failed. Oh, my God. So, here's how it works. If Miss Orange Man Hot Wife wins, that is not enough to win the conference. Straight up. Because there's things that can happen because of last week when he played Pay Dirt Pimps and lost to him. So, here's how this is going to break down, okay? Right now, Miss Orange Man Hot Wife can win the conference if he wins and both Brady's backup and Pay Dirt Pimps win. That can't be right. That means it'd all be 8-3. No, that's not right. That's a mess. That's a mess up here. Let's go. Let's cross that one off. Jesus, I spent so much time doing this too. Let's go. Miss Orange Man wins and Pay Dirt Pimps lose. That means Miss Orange Man Hot Wife wins the conference. If Miss Orange Man and Pay Dirt Pimps win, but Brady's backup loses, that means Orange Man Hot Wife would be 8-3. Pay Dirt Pimps would be 8-3, and therefore they would both. Yeah. Shit. Well, if Orange Man, this is true. If Orange Man wins, Pay Dirt Pimps wins, but Brady's backup loses. Pay Dirt Pimps will be 8-3. Orange Man Hot Wife will be 8-3, but Pay Dirt Pimps has the tiebreaker over him. So that's tough. So, Yeah, so if all three win, it would go to points because I believe they're all 1-1 against each other. Pay Dirt Pimps. Oh my God, I can't believe I have to do this on the podcast live. Let's do it live. Pay Dirt's Pimps. I should have had these tiebreakers broken down. I thought I had it all figured out. Pay Dirt's Pimps. Brady's backup. Pay Dirt's Pimps lost to them. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, they're all 1-1 against each other because Miss Orange Man Hot Wife beat Brady's backup but lost to Pay Dirt Pimps. And then Brady's backup beat Pay Dirt Pimps but lost to Miss Orange Hot Wife, and Pay Dirt Pimps beat Miss Orange Man Hot Wife, lost to Brady's backup. So they're all 1-1. So that makes sense. If all three lose, though, they'd be 7-4. How long till Biden arrested and Giggle Giggle? Yeah, this is where it gets interesting because if all three win, it goes to points because they're all 1-1 against each other, with Miss Orange Man Hot Wife having the advantage, but not by a huge margin. Now, Pay Dirt Pimps, if all three wins, Pay Dirt Pimps is in trouble because they're outscored by him by almost 100 points. But if all three lose, this is why this happens. If all three of these teams lose, Miss Orange Man Hot Wife will win regardless of whatever happens because he has beaten both How Long Till Biden Arrested and Giggle Giggle. Because these two teams do play each other this week, I do believe. So they will have the tiebreaker. He will then at that point be 2-1. No one else will be 2-1, I don't think. So that's how that works. So the point is, Miss Orange Man Hot Wife has to win and get a little help. Because Miss Orange Man Hot Wife would have to win and Pay Dirt Pimps lose to win. Or if all three win, they would need points to get in there because they've all beaten each other 1-1. So this one's close, folks. This one's close, even though my math was a little off at the beginning. At the end of the day, it's close. Frank Drebin Conference. This is really complicated too, actually. Whispering Eyes, obviously, they're 7-3. If they win, they're in. Aiken First Ship, Sag Nasty, and Just Here So I Don't Get Fined. This is a little bit messier here. So let's look here. You play there. Whispering Eyes and Aiken First Ship are playing this week. Huge game right here. This is for the conference for Whispering Eyes, for a chance to get the conference for Aiken First Ship. Because if Whispering Eyes wins, then obviously they're in. If they lose, however, this is where it gets really nuts here, right? Whispering Eyes loses, they'll be 7-4. Aiken First Ship is 7-4. Then if Sag Nasty beats Concussion Protocol and Just Here Don't Get Fined loses, then Aiken First Ship will win this conference. Okay? If Whispering Eyes loses, obviously Aiken Ship, Just Here So Don't Get Fined. Here's the deal, basically. We have three scenarios here. All three of them, if you notice, point to Aiken First Ship winning the conference because of the fact that even though there's going to be a lot of teams that'll be 7-4, Aiken First Sheep will win because he has beaten Just Here So I Don't Get Fined and Sag Nasty Notch Above Top Notch, and even get to this point, he would have to beat Whispering Eye. So the official ruling is in, folks. This game right here is for the conference, Whispering Eyes and Aiken First Ship. Winner of that, because Aiken First Ship has beaten both of these teams. Those are the only two teams that can win this conference. Now, again, Sag Nasty, Just Here So I Don't Get Fined. Do not mail it in, because especially Just Here So I Don't Get Fined could get in on points or record. Sag Nasty probably not in on points. You need to win on record at that point. Brody Brews Conference. This is pretty straightforward here. We got 99% luck, 1% heart, and Hernandez Hitman. Only two who can win this conference because they have a 2-game lead over everybody else. We'll go check out the Brody Brews Conference. Pretty straightforward. 99% wins and they win the conference. Or if they both lose, they would win the conference because 99% has a high tiebreaker over him, okay? Now, let's keep in mind that this happened in week 1. Week 1, 99% beat Hernandez Hitman in what seemed like ages ago in a game that who knew going into the last week that week 1 game would mean so much. But now we know Hernandez Hitman is on a 7-game win streak. And, I mean, that's impressive. So, because of their week 1 loss, though, to 99% luck, that is what really determines who wins this conference, that week 1 matchup. So, here's the deal, as Joe Biden would say. 99% luck wins, they were in. If they both lose, they're in. However, if 99% luck loses, they have to play double C's, Cody Cole, who actually recruited Rocky Keeling into this league, if I remember correctly. So there's gonna be a little play there. And Hernandez Hitman beats my team, the Providence Power. You know, I'm not very good, but I never give up. So we'll see. But if Hernandez Hitman wins and 99% luck loses, then at that point, Hernandez Hitman would win that conference. 99% luck, 1% heart. I'm just going to say it straight up. You need to win this game, because if you don't, you're probably not making the playoffs. Well, you'll still win based on record, I guess, because you're not making it on points. So there is a potential strategy here for 99% luck, 1% heart. You have a decision to make. I've done the math. It's pretty much a guarantee. Even if you lose, you'll make the playoffs based on record, because you're 8-2. You'll be 8-3. There are 19 spots for record / conference winners. That's the worst you could be, is 19th. So if you decided to rest your players this week and lose, or play a conservative lineup this week and lose, you would still make the playoffs. You wouldn't have the bye next week. So do you go all out this week to try to get a bye, or do you play it safe and possibly get two mediocre lineups, or get a mediocre lineup in this week and then maybe win, maybe not? That's a tough one. You have a choice to make there. Hernandez Hitman, they are in the same boat, really. I mean, they could do, if they lose this game, they're still going to probably make the playoffs because of the fact they're 8-2. So either of these teams, it'd be interesting if both of these teams submit conservative lineups to see where it goes, because chances are they're both making the playoffs either way. Just the first round bye is critical, but is it critical if you're going to go balls to the wall to win to get that bye? Maybe not. That's up for you guys to decide. Real talk. I mean, you can do a lot there. And then finally, the Rod Kimball Conference, as it breaks down in the end. This was the most competitive conference, although we do have, well, Team McLovin and Wash No Names, they kind of were bailed on at the end of the year, unfortunately. I think Team McLovin wasn't, but Wash No Names was, unfortunately. Brandon Stevenson let us down, unfortunately. But we have an independent entity that starts lineups for people in a situation like this, so that you get to the end of the year and no one gets any automatic wins. That's the whole point, you know. DeWians. Let's talk about a huge stretch. Now, we've talked about, oh, this is the biggest week in history. I don't think there's ever been, we don't say that all that often, actually, but I don't think there's ever been a 2-week stretch like Gary King is facing right now. Because Gary King, if you remember correctly, last week, both him and Uthia and Lucky Punk were both 7-2. They had to play each other. DeWians won, which makes him 8-2. Uthia and Lucky Punk 7-3. Now this week, he's in a similar situation, because who does he play this week? Let's see. You're going to be surprised. It's Sticks It In Ya. The other person who can take the conference from him. Back-to-back weeks, Gary King has to fight for his life to get that bye and the conference title. Do keep in mind, if you get a conference title, you get a trophy in your trophy room. So there's something to that. They're digital, but still. It's like an NFT, but not worth anything. I mean, it's worth something to me, but and probably you. But, yeah, so let's break down the scenarios here. Okay, 8-2, 7-3, 7-3. DeWians play Sticks It In You this week. If DeWians win, they win the conference. Since they beat Thielen Lucky Punk, doesn't matter what they do this week, they would have the conference. If DeWians lose, though, and you Thielen Pucky Lunk Winklebunk, then at this point, so if DeWians lose, Thielen Lucky Punk wins, all three teams be 8-3, all three teams be 1-1 against each other. And at this point, it would go to points, and therefore, DeWians has a sizable advantage over Uthia and Lucky Punk. Although, yeah, it's 50 points. It's not unheard of to outscore a team by 50 points. However, Sticks It In Ya is toast. They're down a lot more than that. So, Sticks It In Ya, needs to. They can still win this conference though, and here's how. Okay, so if DeWians plays Sticks It In, if Sticks It In wins, they'll be 8-3. DeWians will be 8-3. You Thielen Lucky Punk plays last year's runner-up, who's had the worst comeback year ever. My son, the Clockwork Elves, they're like, I don't know, 3-7, I think. They've actually won a couple games lately, but they are not going to give up. I can promise you that. If the Clockwork Elves beats you Thielen Lucky Punk, then Sticks It In Ya with their paltry 681 points would win the most competitive conference in the history of MUSL, folks, with a super-ass low total, but it's possible for sure. So that's how that breaks down. So there's that. Those are your standings. Those are your playoff situations for the conferences. We do have one more thing to look at, and that is this. Let me zoom out here because I'm a little too far in there, right? There we go. So, all right. So, this is where it's interesting. If you look, these are your top 10, whatever. No, that's not your top 10. No, whatever. No, who cares? Gold means right now these guys are winning the conference. Blue means right now these guys are making it in based on record/points. White means they're not winning the conference, nor are they in based on record, so it's only points. But this is sorted by total points. So, with 1 week to go, Zeke's Relationship Corner, even if they lose, chances are good they're probably still going to make the playoffs because they're going to be 7-4 with an ass load of points. Okay? Okay. So that's important because that 883 is not, I mean, it might get eclipsed, but it's not going to be eclipsed probably by anyone else who's, like, in the running that's, you know, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. But, so, let's look here. DeWians, chances are good. They're going to make the playoffs regardless because they're 8-2. Okay, so we'll take them out of the run. Zeke's Relationship Corner, probably going to make the playoffs regardless because they're 7-3 with a ton of points. So they'll be on top of all the 7-4 teams, no doubt. So they're not really a concern at this point. The teams that are going to be concerned at this point for the points draw. And again, how many we got? We've got 3 points draws. So the top 3 points getters, scorers, that are not already in the playoffs get this. So my Balzac Ertz has a huge advantage because, he's 834, but he's 5-5. He's got a 20-point lead on Wagstaff Whalers, 3-7, who have lost 3 straight games but scored a ton of points doing so, by the way. Cheechki, who plays one of these important teams that we talked about going down into it. I forgot who they play this week, but they are not, I can assure you, they are not going to give up. Where's Cheechki at? Let's see who they playing. They're playing someone important, I know. What the hell conference is this guy in? Well, 4-6, yeah. Who are they playing this week? Let's look. Zeke's Relationship Corner. There you go. I knew they played someone important. So, Cheechki is going to be This is so weird, man. Cheechki's going to swing for the fences because he wants to get in on points because he's not getting on a record. Zeke's Relationship Corner, they can almost mail it in and still make the playoffs, but I wouldn't want to do that. So, a lot of Alada's going to make it in no matter what. Almost guaranteed because he's 8-2. Even if he loses, he's fine. Then you got Now You See Me, Now You Don't, Giggle Giggle, Just Here So You Don't Get Fined. These 3 teams are separated by 5 points. And, I mean, they're like 50 points down from that leader. So, the cutoff line is 3 of these. The question is, how long until Biden is arrested? This guy, if he wins, he'll be 7-4 with a ton of points. He's going to make the playoffs. If he loses, however, he will not make the playoffs based on record. He'll be 6-5. And therefore, he's going to take up one of these spots. So that makes my Balzac Ertz, how long till Biden is arrested, and then a third spot here probably. But, I mean, you got to realize, Wagstaff Whalers, Cloacal Kiss, if they lose, they're probably going to be okay because they're 7-4. But Cheechki, Now You See Me, Now You Don't, Giggle Giggle, Just So You Don't Get Fined, And then, yeah, Honolulu Blues, I mean, you're so far down. You're 50 points down from the top. You're only 40 points down from Wagstaff and only 20 points down from them. So you can do it. I'm going to say anyone below 770 doesn't really have much of a chance. But that means Mo Tunny Mo Problems, Ted Lasso's Biscuits, Take Your Vax and Shove It, the Fabulous Baker Boys, Honolulu Blues, and Better Bring Your A Game, I don't know why I read those out of order, are all in the running. We're going to make this line right here. If I had to guess, this is where you would stop. You know, I mean, that 2 points, Digger Phelps, yeah, maybe, I guess. Steel City Sackers, you're getting way down there because you got to have just colossal failures from Wagstaff and Biden. Wouldn't be the first time. All right, that's enough of that. Colloquial Kiss, but Cheechke and Wagstaff, and I mean, yeah, you can outscore Cheechke. I mean, if you have 770, they have 796. That's outscoring them by 29 points. Not a huge deal. So, unfortunately, most of these teams down here. Now, wait till you see this, though, guys. Wait till you see this. These teams strictly hoping for a lottery draw at this point, unfortunately. But we keep scrolling, and we see FarmersOnly.com at 48, and we see Pay Dirt Pimps at 59, and they're in on record. So if these teams lose, they're in trouble because they have very few points. We keep scrolling. We see Sticks It In Ya has a chance at winning the conference. We keep scrolling. We keep scrolling. We keep scrolling. And there, still in the 71st spot in points, we have the conference winning 99% luck, 1% heart with 654 points. Good for 71st in the nation. Unreal. And Freedom Fighter down here is 5-5, and they're 563, man. But they've won 3 straight. It's crazy, man. So there you have it. That's where we know. Next week will be the always exciting playoff podcast where we do the lottery drawing right here live. Yeah, I actually probably will go live for that. So on Facebook, and then I'll simultaneously be recording the podcast while going live. So that'll be wild. So anyway, we're at 32 minutes. It's the longest podcast yet, but we had to break some stuff down. Get your lineups in, people. Huge week. Take it easy.